Okay. Oh, hold up. I forgot one more thing. There we go. Alright, so the very first thing that we need to figure out is... One second. I'm waiting for the game to load up. It's loaded in, I'm just tabbing into it. Come on. Okay. So I am back. We're going to go ahead and try to figure out what new race we want to play for the last 2 hours of stream. So we're going to go ahead and go into new game. As you can see, we've played the Voctorian. They could play... Yeah, they could be one of the races spawned in the next game. But we're going to also see that we have the Sanghili. This was from a private game. And then we have various other races that could spawn in as our neighbors. Just to go through these all, if you've never seen them at the beginning of this. And you know what we're going to be doing is I'm going to wait for people to respond. So far we only have one person in this chat right now. But we could play as a whole bunch of different things. We could play as robots, we could play as musculoids, which are like muscle creatures, insects, reptilians, plantoids, giant jellyfish people. We were playing muscoids last time, or fungoids, rather. So we're going to go ahead and create a new race. Create a new empire. Now the first thing that we're going to do is do our appearance. There's a lot you can tell about a species based on how they look. So our options are we could try to like go in the dwarves. We could we could look at some Babylon 5 species that we could play as. These are the custom skins I got, so let's see. I'm just going to go through the different categorizations and just like give you a couple of images so you can look at. We have Doctor Who races if you'd like to play and roleplay those. Oh, we have some fantasy races that we could pick from. Just give me like the category and then we can go look through them from there. Of course, we got the Halo races. You already saw the elites. Things like grunts and brutes and prophets and jackals. Oh my. We got the classic Mass Effect. Some of these skins are broken, I'm seeing, so they're not going to show up. Miscellaneous species, so we could be playing from movies of different genres and different mediums. Special races are like the races from like the game's special end game events, so like interdimensional monsters that want to consume all biomass, or AIs, or robot enemies. More robot enemies. Of course, you gotta have the Star Trek. It's a space game, so you know. Oh, really? Hell yeah. I appreciate that, Brandon. Let me send the name to you. Ba-ba-ba. Oh. That's not how I spelled it. I forget, how do I add friends? I'm in the middle of the stream. If you don't mind sending me your information on Discord, I'll add you as a friend here in a minute. I can't be looking through all of that. We do have Star Trek races. Mind you, this is just on YouTube, so that's why I'm saying that. Oh, you found me already. Awesome. Bitchin'. Much appreciated. Okay, so we do have... Yeah, I see it. Appreciate you. We do have Star Trek races, so we could go down the various lists of these. A whole bunch of weird-looking humanoid races, you know. Of course, we got Star Wars, because, you know, we have Star Trek. You gotta have Star Wars. We don't have to call them the Star Wars equivalent, of course. Warhammer 40K. A little bit of a dark, brutal edgelord world. I don't know why it always spawns us in as females. Oh. Trying to get my friends list to work. Oh, I have to be online, duh. Oh. Something's going on with my Steam. It's not letting me. Chewie from Star Wars. I can't activate my friends list in Steam Overlay or not, or otherwise. It's not working for me. Could be a bear man. We could definitely do Wookiees. I've played Wookiees before. Of course, just to go through the rest, we did have XCOM in here. We had the Kitsune race, which is just anime. And then more of the traditional skins like humanoids, the machine races. Some of them are kind of cool, actually. Valerians from Game of Thrones. More mammalian-looking, wild-ass-looking creatures. Same with reptiloids. Avians. Bird people, you know. These are the more standard vanilla stuff. We'll go back to Chewie, though, here in a second. I just want to finish. Musculoids. So, you know, Cthulhu vibes. Fungoids, which are the mushroom people of various kinds and types and varieties of weird. Which is what we were last time. And then the plant people. Okay. Oh, you sent the message on Discord? That works too. Okay. It's been so long since I've redeemed something. Okay, I'm going to have to download that later. Just because that's going to interrupt stream. So we're going to go pick the Wookiees. I'm just going to go down and pick male leader just so we can get that out of the way. Alright, so we picked Wookiees. I did get it, yes. I just went ahead and redeemed the code, so nothing bad will happen to the code. It is going down right now. Alright, so our species name, we're going to go with the Wookie. Wookie is plural. No, Wookiees. They say the Wookiees. And then Wookiees for adjective. A proud race of large bestial humanoids. I had to scan my brain for that one. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll get that set up in a schedule. I just closed my stream out. 1 second. Very professional, I know. I'm rolling today. So we're gonna go ahead and play the Wookies. That's gonna be an interesting dynamic to play around with. Bestial humanoid that evolved on a garden world as its custodians. Capable of feats of great strength and climbing, they quickly became the dominant species on the planet. However, this did not protect them from the violent predators of their home world. There we go. Did I lose both of you on that? Or is that just my stream editor just tripping on me? Let's go ahead and see if we can find Wookiee names. Star Trek names, Star Wars, there we go. Oh, we don't have Wookiee names. Okay, well, if we don't have Wookiee names, what? That's the whole point of playing a Wookiee. Now, how are the Wookiees gonna, like, control themselves? Call them the Sith Lords? We could. The Wookiee Synth Empire. We could give them Sith names. That kind of works. Wei Val Dantos Rash Burish Naga Elthe. What should our ship prefix be? Huh. Let's decide. Millennium. Yeah. No, they're Wookiees. We'll call them the Lord. That's our ship prefix. Yeah, I can dig with that. Uh-oh. Game? Okay, so how are we going to build our Wookiees? Obviously, they got to be big and strong. These are race traits that we got to give them. I think they don't have kids very much, so we'll give them slow breeders just because we want to have the extra trait points. Their population growth will be small, but we got to figure that out. Do we want them to be canon Wookiees, or do we want them to, like, be distinct, their own vibe kind of Wookiees? Actually, let's ask that question while I look through some of these. I am waiting for a response, so. Because it could make them very strong and traditional like Wookiees are. Very strong? That makes sense, they are Wookiees. We got traditional. They're kind of communal as a nature too, which works for housing. That way they breed slowly, but they all stay living in the same households. A nomadic actually gives them more immigration speed. I don't think Wookiees would be really like that. Now we only have one trait point, so we can only pick a level 1 thing. Or we could pick another level 2 thing to get 2 points if we go into negative. Like, we could get Repugnant, it would give us up a total of 3 points, and then we could still pick 2 benefits. I kind of feel like Lifespan being long needs to be one of them. So Enduring kind of works for me. Because you gotta think, it's a big, furry creature that actually eats bloody animals raw. And it stinks because it has all of that decay in there, and they don't like bathing. They consider it dishonorable. Alright, we're in Star Wars territory. Uh-oh, am I crashing? I hope I'm not crashing. So we're going to go ahead and just pretend we're not crashing, hopefully. We have 2 points, so I'm going to go ahead and look through here. I don't think there's anything worth 2 points down here. Naturalist. My religion is nature. That's what arouses the feelings of wonder and mysticism. We get extra ability. Population growth grows a little bit quicker than we want, but they also get less minerals, which is something I don't necessarily want. Brutal. Wookiees can be brutal. We've learned that they will rip the arms off of people. Hold on. It's lagging on my phone. I just want to be sure. Steam's downloading a thing, that's why. I told it not to, but it's going to try anyway. Okay, that looks better. So I was going to say we're going to pick Brutal, I think. Population growth from immigration isn't much, but at the same time we get extra army damage. No, it's not that I think we're going to be invading a lot as the Wookiees. I just think that we need to defend ourselves after last campaign. So we're going to be very strong, very long-lived, slow breeders who smell bad, and take extra amenities from jobs to like take care of. And then we also are very good at fighting. Not too much in the way of buffs mechanically, but as a species we're strong and resilient. You had to restart? Okay. I paused the Hearts of Iron download. So that should take care of that. I told it not to, but it downloaded it anyway. Okay, so now we're down to our home world. Now we have different dry climates. We have a desert world, arid worlds, or savanna worlds. As for wet, we have tropical, continental, and ocean worlds. And then we have frozen worlds like Arctic worlds, alpine worlds, or tundra worlds. I would think continental would be what Kashyyk is. But do we want to have a different kind of world for this one? This will like affect where we actually can colonize too, so we got to consider that. So do we want to put him on a... What world do we want to put him on? Give you a second to respond. I got extra gummy on that one. Woo. Probably still name it Kashyyk. What is that? Alright. We'll call it Star Green Star. I don't know what their home world is. We'll do a random setting for their star world. Dry. We want to do dry. Do we want to do a desert, arid, or savanna world? I just realized his beard changes every time I do this. Oh, what the hell? He's like, oh, I'm tired of this. Apparently there's some bad latency going on here. You did say dry. We could go for the driest world. See if you change your mind. I think mammalian probably makes sense for Wookiees. Now here is the fun part. I'm going to turn my music off for this so I can keep my train of thought for a while. Here... Oh, you're fine, you're fine. Here's the fun part, though. Now we have origins. You're fine if you're doing stuff in your background. I'm just giving you time before I decide on my own. So origins are things that have led your species up into the world and into the ascendancy that they're in. So they've done something that has led to them leaving their planet. The most standard one is kind of like the Earth idea of the planet has come together to work for the benefit of the planet, and then we leave the planet. We could go ahead and do that. However, we have other games like Mechanists, like we've built robots to help us get to space. That one's kind of locked right now. We have Syncretic Evolution. That one is in particular like you have evolved with a secondary dumber species that you've kind of like nurtured into being servitile to you in some way. Then we have Seeded Life. Some intelligent species has come and planted life on your world, and you have evolved from that. We have the Post-Apocalyptic one, where we have been a worldwide organization before, and we've decided for some reason or another to cause an apocalypse on our world. This could be an asteroid hitting us. It could be nuclear fire. Remnants is another one. This one is like you're on a world that used to be populated by another galaxy. Or let me read this. Oh, okay. So, apparently you guys were once a far-spanned space civilization that eventually got destroyed, and you're re-rising back into space is what that one is. We have the Shattered Ring, where we are on a ring world built by unknown forerunners. The world was destroyed, and we're essentially forced to rebuild it for us. That would nullify our previous world plan. We could have evolved here, or we could have been dropped off here. It's really up to us. Void Dwellers. These are people who have had their planet destroyed completely and now live in space stations. Scions are also the possibility, which is a fallen empire has meddled in the development of our civilization for thousands of years, guiding them onto a path of whatever they decided for us. Then we have on the shoulders of giants, civilization has left hidden boons in their solar system for us when we get to space. The Tree of Life. This one's a hive mind specific one, so we're not playing that unless we want to actually make us hive mind Wookiees. But essentially, the hive has evolved as a symbiotic relationship with a vast tree. The galactic doorstep is essentially we have a gateway in our home system, and then we can use that to teleport to a different point. And we won't know where the hell that is. Resource consolidation means that we've used up all of our planetary resources to get the best out of what we needed, which is a machine intelligence one. Common ground. We're getting into the stuff that is more modified. But we got this civilization established early contact with their immediate alien neighbors. Finding strength in their diversities, or indifferences, they decided to face the future and whatever might be, or it might bring, together. Then we got a hegemon, which is essentially we are part of a early group of space civilizations that have been neighbors that have built up their own interstellar union. Doomsday's a fun one. It's very challenging, but essentially you're supposed to move from your planet, and in 35 to 45 years, your game will explode. Your homeworld will explode. We have the Lost Colony. Yeah, there's a lot. If anything strikes out to you, let me know. I'm going to skip over the Mass Effect ones, because I feel like those are overcomplicated. We got Lost Colony, which is like the Wookiees have sent out a colony ship at some point in the past, like a series of them, and they went somewhere, and most of the colonies died, so the original homeworld thought everybody died, but you guys made it to where you're going, and you've evolved from there. And then just quick firing on Mass Effect. Heart of the Terminus is like a space pirate hideout. Migrant Fleet is like your people are on a fleet. Kashyyk Hellscape is like you're on a lava world is where you guys live. Skipping the Shadow Organization, Ragnarok, Andromeda, Exiles. Back to the other stuff. Starless. We actually live in a black hole system. But that explains itself. The planet is technically considered dead, and it is considered a challenging start. Starborn is the species has always, consciously or not, longed to travel the void between the stars and eager to do so. They've essentially start the game with a colony ship, from what it says. And we're excited to go move from our planet to a new one. You like the lava world? Well, we got other ones too. Like the Shroud world, which is like Space Shroud has covered our world and made us really weird evolution. We also have brain slug hosts. So like slugs have moved into our brain. A Xeno livestock farming, where we are the second species in a food chain. And some guy comes around and harvests us. Cybernetic manipulation, which is like we're robot people. Engineered genetics is the one that we also hit off on for last game. And then we get into other games, it looks like. Dry world, probably on fire. That's a pretty good call. I think I did pick desert for the planet. Yeah, dry desert lava planet. A Systems Alliance official once summarized this his tour of the Vorcha homeworld as follows. You can make your own Kashyyk in 2 steps. Take Hell and add a Vorcha. Oh, so we can actually terraform things cheaper if we take this start. We'll spawn multiple negative modifiers as well as the mineral-rich modifier on the capital planet, and it costs more to, or less to terraform. Okay. We could potentially win this time, actually. It would be interesting if we win. It's all about the resources we get and how wisely I use them. I don't think I played it off very well last game. But you know, it was for fun. So, now we're on governing ethics. This is our government type. This is the thing that helps us identify who we are as a government and as a people. The centermost one is actually what will activate the hive mind behavior, which is gestalt consciousness. We're not doing hive mind unless we're convinced. You want to be a dictatorship? Well, well, that's something I was going to bring up. Is we have democracy, we have oligarchies, we have a dictatorship, and then we have an imperial line. So democracies, every 10 years you got to have an election for a new ruler. But you can actually remove, or you can resettle your population. We have oligarchies, which is every 20 years we have an actual election. And faction unities actually help us out more. Then we have the dictatorship, which actually helps our empire be bigger. Our leaders are until they die, but then they get elected. Imperial allows us to actually have a singular bloodline. Oh, taking a step back. Well, I'll finish this. Imperial lets us have a singular bloodline, and they'll have their own traits. And when they die, they automatically have somebody take their place. And then I've never played a mega corporation, but we could play as a mega corporation. Now, every ruler will have their own thing going on, and every system has its own benefits. So, like Imperial system, you can always see that the children will kind of follow a trend of at least having one trait that the dad had, and then a random trait. Whereas any of the election ones will allow you to elect people over certain periods of time. Imperial or dictator. So we get more influence if we are at Imperial. I kind of like the empire size, just because we want to be bigger. But now for our core ethics, we have things like being a militarist and being a pacifist. Now, something to point out in this little circle is that things that are directly across from one option cancel out the other. So if we decided to be a militarist, we can no longer be a pacifist. It will swap us out. So the options are militarist, so we like to fight. Xenophobic, so we don't like aliens. Egalitarian, so we think everybody's equal. Materialist, so we're about material goods and trade. Pacifist, don't have to explain. Xenophile, we love aliens. Authoritarian, we believe that somebody or some aliens are better than others. And then spiritualist. And that's kind of like we're religious and Zen. And then we can go into the deeper pool of that and become fanatic. Now, when these are blue, we can change things. We can become fanatical. We can just change our ideology completely. But once we become fanatical, we cannot change that without great cost. We like to fight. Okay. Do we really like to fight, or do we just like to fight? We really like to fight. We're going to be fanatic then. Now, do we want to be like, don't come in our territory, like to fight? Or do we want to be like, we want stuff, kind of fight? Or we think we're better than you and kind of fight? When I bought it, it was like 60 bucks. I haven't looked into it recently. And I have DLC too, so it's like I have a lot. It's 40 bucks on Steam right now. There's a lot going on though, isn't there? Alright, we can go ahead and put those words on Steam. Or on stream. I like being fanatic. I'm better than you? Oh, wait. That's what you meant. I thought you meant the game for a minute there. Alright, so we're going to be authoritarian, fanatic, militarists. And now we have civics. Now this is how does our government operate. Sorry, I got gummies in my mouth. Anyway. This is how we operate as people. So we could be like barbaric despoilers. I've never used this trait. I think it's a mod. But it says this society holds few things sacred. To fight is to live, and the strongest may seize whatever they covet. We do have it unlocked. What does it offer us, though? We can't form migration treaties. We cannot form federations other than martial alliances or hegemonies. We have a despolition. Cassius Belli, so we can despot people, I guess. And it allows us to raid bombardment stance, which in turn allows us to abduct pops from besieged planets and resettle them to our own worlds. That could break the game. Byzantine stuff, so we would get extra stability. And unity, which allows us to have more traditions. Catalytic processing, that means that we actually have biomechanical stuff. So by focusing their individualistic efforts on catalyst chemistry, this civilization has unlocked the key to using organic materials in the construction of spacebound vessels. Core vitae system, this society considers the absolute right of the government. Cutthroat politics, I think you've learned that, you know, civics. Civics is how we operate as a government. So, like, we picked the type of authority we have. So we have a dictator in charge. But civics is how does everything else below that dictator operate. So we're currently, as an example, we're fanatic, militarist, authoritarian dictatorship. So we got to figure out, underneath us, are we like cutthroat? Like, do Wookiees have to go fight other Wookiees politically or through intrigue? Or through bouts of strength to actually advance politically? Do we think that the government has absolute control over the individual? Let's see. Diplomatic, do we value diplomacy more than not? Do we have distinguished admiralty? Control. Control in what kind of way? Do we want physical control, or are we trying to, like, manipulate control? Because, like, distinguished admiralty, that would help us in our battles with spaceships and generals when we invade planets. Kill anyone that doesn't agree. Okay. We kind of want to be cutthroat then. We could also be things like nationalistic zeal or a police state. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got to go warrior culture. That seems obvious. This society has developed a hardy warrior culture. Martial prowess is valued above all else, and true glory can only be found in the field of battle. So we're all about killing each other, but we also have really good admirals and generals. Okay, okay. We're coming out. We're a martial dictatorship. And then we get to pick our...
Every successful economy is built around a hopeless cycle of repetition where we sell you the empty promise of happiness and fulfillment, and unfulfilled as ever, you still come back for more.
That's our advisor we get to pick.
The springs of cooperation flow most abundant. Those who need will receive.
Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
I think that sets up for the vibe we're doing. Empire name. We can auto-generate or we could make one. The Great Wookiee Authority, the Great Wookiee Regime. I think I have an idea. No, not the Great Wookiee. I was gaslit by the name generator. We are the Furby Sith. Furb Scythian. We're Wookiees, but this is the Forbidden Sith. Alright. We're Wookiees, so we're going to go with something simple and green. Come on. We want domination. Death and domination. Secondary color. Nah, we'll go brown. Dark brown. Now, I don't like just looking at the mammalian ships for them, so I'm going to look through some of these others. Anthropod, fungoid, musculoid, avian, reptilian, mammalian, or plantoid. Knowing what we know of Wookiees, I kind of feel like the plantoids would be like the more viable appearance for them, I guess. Corvette, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, Titan, construction ship, colony ship, science ship, citadel, Colossus. I kind of dig the Colossus. The Colossus specifically is like the super weapon at the end game. So like we can make a weapon that can destroy the world if we build correctly. So it could like put a shield around the world or fire a laser that explodes the core. Oh, whoops. And then our Juggernaut. This is our Thanos ship. To put it gently. What should our ruler's name be? I think the Great Chief fits for the Wookiees. Oh, only 2 color variations, huh? I guess the color variations aren't going to matter, but I feel like the skulls in the hunt room will fit best. Quickly, chief name. I'll give you like a minute. You like mine? We'll fit DevinNation then. Okay, we're gonna save. Done. And we're generating. Alright, we're gonna spawn into the galaxy. Alright. In the eons since the first primitive Wookiee communities took shape amid the great dune seas of Kashyyk, our civilization has spread and prospered. Countless nation-states formed as we advanced through the technological ages, warring against each other until only one remained. Although the fighting was often brutal, those who survived nurtured a martial tradition that has prevailed to this day. Now, after the discovery of the Hyperlane Network, the finest minds of the Furby Sith have finished the development of the hyperdrives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. Okay, so let's see what we got here on our planet. We have a female governor who's good about environmental engineering. We have unstable tectonics. This world is very unstable plate tectonics and will be prone to massive earthquakes and volcanic activity. We have hostile fauna here, so animals. This world has evolved extremely hostile fauna. It's a bleak world where life struggles to survive, but we have high mineral value. We already gave us a administrative office and a commercial zone. And we're going to go ahead and start the game. Oh, actually, we're not. We're going to take a second. And we are already starting the game off way to the north on the boundary again. So we're going to go ahead, and the very first thing we're going to do is build a space ship for the scientists. We're going to go ahead and start building up our... We're going to say our research first. It makes sense. Engineering. We need more planet unification first, but I think what we're going to do is biodiversity studies. And we're just going to get an early scientific research buff. We don't need a whole committal to that ideal quite yet. But, you know, we just need to start off. Okay. Our FERT will be the Furball one. So we already have one science ship, and what I want to do immediately so we can avoid doing this again is instead of just doing my surroundings, I'm going to go map out a forward point. That way we know we can get to this point before anybody else. We have planned build. We know where we're going. And we don't get cut off from the rest of the galaxy by some spiritualist asshole with an attitude again. Oh, just like last game. And then we can go ahead and recruit another scientist who's better at anomalies. We don't have that, though, so we can't do that quite yet. In the meantime, though, we can start having our construction ship build stuff. Now, much like in any of these games, the early game is going to be a little bit slow just because we have to take time to micromanage. Okay. So our people are starting out for the very first time in space. We don't have anything special going on for us. Our leader spawned in with the Explorer trait. So we're going to get science ships that build cheaper and have extra anomaly research speed. And we are warlike, so we will like to go to war at some point. And hopefully not crash our economy this time. That was not a good thing for us to do. And while they get to work, what I'm going to get to work on doing is ship designing. Because I don't like their auto-generated ships. So we're going to get a missile boat going. We're doing Star Wars, so I think lasers will be our primary way of fighting this time around. We do need a reactor booster. Now in Star Wars, lighter ships like this are actually very dependent on shields.
Anomaly found.
So this is going to be a Kashyyk class. A large amount of ship debris can be found in orbit above the moon, possibly the remnants of some kind of massive fleet action. That's a good one. We'll get to that here in a second. Missile boat, not what I want. Interceptor.
Construction complete.
And just so he can break through shields a little bit better, we're going to give him actual projectiles. Wook nut, because it's going to be tough to crack. No, that'll be the next one. This is going to be a Wook bolt, I guess. And then a picket ship. This is going to be defensive, so we're just going to give it a flak battery, because that's better than the other one, just by slightly. And we're going to give you lasers, because people are going to be coming at you. Now, the coil gun does reach farther than a laser, but the laser does a little bit more concentrated damage. You can be the Wook nut. Alright, we're already going down with consumer goods, but that's to be expected. We're in the early game. I'm going to go ahead and send you over here. We can finally recruit the scientist man. We got different scientist man. Alright, so who's working where as far as scientists? All of you actually are pretty good at what you're being assigned to, so we can go ahead and assign the new guy here. And as much as I kind of don't want to go this way because I feel like we're going to be biting off less than we can chew, I do want to see if this is closed off or what the deal is over here, simply because it could be something good. We've already found a weapon junkyard that he's doing studies on. So what's the worst that could happen, you know? Oh, no wonder the administration building's what's screwing us over. Extra amenities. We're just going to build civilian industries to go ahead and counteract that. Get that going up a little bit. Now, we are breaking even with food. That should be our next priority, so let's go ahead and see if we can build a small farm here. We are missing 150. So how do you win this game? Okay, so that's a good question. As you can tell, unlike other games where it's like Hearts of Iron, where you gotta like take the colors of the map. Give me 1 second. So in Hearts of Iron, you're pretty much just trying to dominate and become the most powerful thing here. But you're pretty much trying to do the same thing. You go to the situation log, you go down to victory. Right now you can see I'm the 15th person, and it bases your score on what your current economic strength is, your technology level, your number of systems that you own, your colonies, all of that. And compiles all those numbers together to give you a total score, and whoever has the highest score by the year 2500, so 2500, wins the game. Now, there are different like events. So in the early stages, you're obviously fighting your neighbors. Eventually, in the early stages, borders are going to be more like concretely set up. And then you saw some of the warrior cultures that we were starting to find. Those make up like the boss guys to the early game. Kind of like a mid-game goal. And then at the end, there's a big galaxy-wide calamity that will occur. And you have to survive that. And once you survive that, it's either you survive it and then continue to live on until the year 2500. Or that war continues to go on past that year. And then once you defeat the end, it will give you the final calculation based on who has survived and what your current scores are. So that's actually how you win Stellaris. Most people don't finish a complete game, though. I've only finished one in all my years of playing. But, you know, every time you play, it's subjective to how you want to play it. So there's plenty of different builds and pathways you can take. And as you can see, you don't always win. There is a clear evidence that a massive space battle took place in close orbit of Europe 2A at some point within the last 5,000 years. The surface on the side of the moon is pocket-marked with craters from the stray weapon blasts. And scans from the Lord Reliance have picked up on several hulks on the ground. Though these wrecked ships are all in very poor condition, the fact that any remain at all after the damage they must have sustained is a testament to their advanced design. Science Officer Martius Koresh is preparing an expedition to sift through the derelict hulls for any valuable technologies.
Situation log updated.
Man, this poor guy's just gonna stay here, keep working. Get back to work on that research project. So unlike those other grand strategy games where it's like you have set goals that you have to claim, it's pretty much like you could get very high up in your value. Give me 1 second. The Furby Sith is abuzz with the news of alien remnants that were recently studied. These leavings are considered definite proof of intelligent, purposely alien activity at some point in the past. We may still be alone now, but we were not the first ones. So, like, I could take over a good chunk of the map, but if it's, like, bigger than I could actually theoretically put money down onto for our economy, we could still have a very shit economy, very low value area that has no special materials, so that could actually come and bite us in the butt. We do start paying off a lot more in the way of debuffs if we start overexpanding ourselves in our empire size, which is what I have highlighted now. Like if we go over 100 with our total empire size score, we run into the situation where we get additional costs to technology and traditions. So technically it's a choice of, do I want the materials or do I want us to have the ability to get traditions and keep a unified country together? First, contact protocols. We're going to be cautious. We don't want to go out into all-out war right off the bat. We also need to buy more stuff because we have a bad situation brewing already. And just like that, consumer goods is dealt with. But right now, we just want to avoid what happened last time, which is us getting cut off and put into a corner spot. Okay, it's 9. We've been at this for an hour. So we just don't want to get caught off in this corner spot because we want to grow. Because if we get stuck again, what's going to happen is our population is going to continue to grow. We cannot stop the population growth of the Wookiee people. Because that is our baseline population. That's our main race. We cannot stop it. It just doesn't happen. Habitable World Survey. Long story short, they've discovered that other life can inhabit other planets, so they want us to actually start studying it, or we can ignore this. We want to actually understand life on other planets.
Situation
To
log
better kill them.
updated.
Now, we're not doing this because of scientific need. We're just doing it because
Our
we're
ships
Wookiees
have
who are
been
curious
made superior.
about hunting things.
Special project complete.
So, we're only learning about these other alien lives to actually hunt. Okay. It's good to see you, though. I'll let you head right on out. You have a good night. We can definitely work on playing Hearts of Iron at some point this upcoming week on stream. The team under Science Officer Mataris Crash has finished the expedition on Europa 2A and returned the Lord Resilience. Thankfully, the starship graveyard on the surface proved to be a technological treasure trove. Woohoo! Studying the remnants of these vessels, we have advanced our research in certain fields by several years. There are yet things to discover. A permanent science outpost in orbit would be a great boon for our starship engineering efforts. So we get extra research on that planet, plus we have 500 more engineering research. Please tell me something good. Survey of Lengol 3A. The Lord Corvin discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed Zero. It is extremely rare aerosol exotic particles that appears to have been deposited here through a meteor impact, but its true origin is a mystery. If ingested by psionically gifted individuals, the aerosol should act as a very potent and potentially addictive drug that enhances the PSI or the psi abilities. Much love. Though we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future. I didn't read the word. Future abuse. That's what we're going to do with it. We're going to abuse it just to sell it.
System survey complete.
System survey, good to know. Go ahead and clear the industrial wastelands out of my territories. Alright, so I'm going to actually change this commercial zone. Just because I don't like it being here. It was nice to help us out. Actually. Let's get some alloy foundations starting up. Now, I'm going to be a lot more cautious with my alloy production than I was last time. It did turn out to be clutch to keep us alive as long as it did, but we collapsed and we had economic problems. I just don't want to reface that issue this campaign. Because refacing that issue is not something I would enjoy. The sissy guards. Okay. We're kind of popping off on stuff. Okay, so what do we want to do? We are going to be a warrior race, but right now nothing's going on. I think expansion makes sense. We are slow breeders. It does immediately help our colony development, which is good. But I think the star base influence cost and the colony start with one additional population is going to be really good for us in the upcoming years, really. It's not going to pay out in the short term. It's going to help us with colonization, but that's kind of what we want. Is more colonies. And before you know it, the Lord Reliance crew are eager to report they have recovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring species on Europe 7A, who appear to have inhabited the planet some several million years ago. While it is unclear why this species, who called themselves the Grunner, disappeared from the Europe system, our scientists have isolated a promising archaeological dig site on the planet. Perhaps further study will yield more clues.
System survey complete.
All right. Gummies are gone. We claim no. We build science ship now. We hire world leader. Not yet. He will cost us 150. We will make soon. Hey, we're up to 3 viewers again. Hello, third viewer. Thank you for stopping by. We're playing as the Sith Wookie race now. The Voktorin have fallen, so we are now playing as a different race for the rest of this campaign. The Furby Sith, also known as the Wookies. We are in the early game, so bear with us as we try to start building up our central power. We're trying to, matter-of-factly, go ahead and claim as much space in as little time as possible, because last time we got cut off from the rest of the galaxy in a little dinky corner, so I'm trying to expand as quickly as possible to prevent that. So we're going to survey, we're going to survey, and it looks like I'm going to go this way. Our food production is low.
Anomaly
That's going to be
found.
fine. Initial analysis of asteroid composition points towards potentially interesting finds. Now I understand why people don't talk on stream when they're eating, because, like, man, I was salivating like nobody's business. Scientist Silas Kale has earned Carefree. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the Wookiee name pack to work. Hamor Galgaram has found anomaly discovery chance as a skill as well. Good to know. Right, another month, and we can afford to get this scientist. Just like that, there we go. We're going to go ahead and get a statescraft one. And they're going to get to work scanning things as well. Now this third one I'm going to allow to actually take the time to finish scanning what we got going on here, because he might as well do something while the other guys are working to catch up. And then I think I'm going to send him over here. Okay, fragments of life. It appears that the asteroid E49BRF and the surrounding debris originate from a former planet. Deep within the center of the asteroid, we can find traces of valuable alloys. There are also hints of bacterial life that has now died in the vacuum of space. This shows us that the celestial body once bore the promises of life. Good to know.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
All right.
Construction complete.
I think we're just going to do assembly patterns just so we can build up our planet a little bit better. That's going to go down drastically, I'm sure. New dig site. Robot debris. The entire surface of this small asteroid is covered in robot debris, trapped in a weak gravity field. All of it appears military in nature, but is close enough to combat droids here to outfit several armies. They had not shattered beyond all repair. Good to know.
System survey complete.
We're just going to keep on producing.
Initiating tactical retreat.
Ooh, that's not good for me. I hope that's not somewhere important. Oh, he's off there. This scavenger. Hi, Tegan. Oh yeah, sorry I was a little bit late. I went out to get snacks and I got pulled over, but as you'll probably notice, we are playing a different species now. I'll get into it after I finish reading this event. I'm glad you love the game, though. This game's awesome. The Uthan system. Oh, do keep in mind, you can watch it on my YouTube channel as well, at DevinNation on YouTube. I am posting these live streams there for Stellaris, so you can actually go check them out and watch them in their entirety if you so choose. The Uthan system is a sprawling graveyard of mechanical debris. The wreckage of untold numbers of derelict ships circle its stars. Swaths of fuel and liquid coolant could cloud our sensors like ghosts, and creaking stations remnants collide within the shattered carcasses of the planets on their path around the sun. An incredible construct stirs in the heat of the heart of this graveyard. It appears to be a gigantic machine, a robotic automaton larger than our greatest battleships, jury-rigged from the scraps and pieces of thousands of shipwrecks. The Lord Carvani reports that this scavenging robot sifts through the debris fields with a fixed purpose, scrounging for useful parts to add to its patchwork configuration. It is clear a battle of astronomical proportions once took place here, though whether the scavenger is its sole survivor or a scrap hunter from a distant nation remains unknown. We should exercise caution as the construct bears heavy artillery from dozens of warships. It is concerning. Let's take a look at this. I don't think I've actually come across this one. I've only heard about it in the galaxy before. Okay. So what, is he just going to be roaming around in here? Contact report, Leviathan. The news of the encounter with the deep space construct of gargantuan proportions is spreading throughout the Furbag Sith. With the while the entity does not appear to be biological in nature, the mere existence has inescapable ramifications for the possibilities of a technology and mega engineering. So, we are playing a new species. We're playing as the Wookiee-based Mega Sith.
Found. System survey complete.
Wookiee-based Furbag Sith. That was inspired by chat earlier. You got to, if you were here, you would have helped us. But we've decided to play a dictatorial military authoritarian. And we are going to go to war with as many people as possible later. And that is kind of our generalized plan for right now. We might not go to war immediately when we contact people, but it is definitely within our plans. But first off, we got to get back to surveying. We're going to see and try to be dominant powers in this world, but we had an economic collapse, and if you were with us yesterday, you already know it wasn't a great situation. We lost another colony. They took a good chunk of our space station, so we just decided that, you know, those colonies are going to be lost to us. Their story is no longer worth following, so we are going to go ahead with this new galaxy. And the very first thing we need to do, prevent ourselves from being cut off from the rest of the world. Well, Galactic Council, rather.
Anomaly found.
Metallic sands. Scanners indicate that the sandy dunes of Abnol 5A are almost entirely composed of granulate rare metals. We got that one last time.
System survey complete.
Gonna do some studies on that. And you get busy mining all this. Oh. Why can't I build anything here? What do you mean I can't build here? Oh. That's what you mean I can't build there. I don't own anything to build with. Okay. Now I have stuff to build with. I want it all. It's a neighbor puppy dog. The Lord Corvani crew is excited to report the unanticipated find of the surface of Abnol 5A. Not only are they plentiful sand dunes... Not only are there plentiful Not only are plentiful sand dunes on the planet composed of rare metal granules, the sand itself almost entirely composited of countless broken nanites. These microscopic machines are millions of years old. Their structures degraded far beyond any chance of reactivation. While we cannot determine the source of origin for these nano machines, the society that created them must have been highly technologically advanced. The science officer, Lord Corvani, postulates that the nanites may have been used to terraform the surface millions of years ago. That's actually an old event. I don't know if it's in the current version of the game, but that's fun.
System survey complete.
Now, I genuinely do not believe that I need to go ahead and create... Actually, hold on. I genuinely do not believe that I have to create another construction ship because I feel like it's just going to burn time and effort, so I'm just going to start building this stuff. We could do the internal one again, obviously, but I feel like that really damaged our early game. We've also found the Grunar runes, robot debris, and apparently 2 angled. I don't know what that one is. Oh, we have a 4th viewer. Hello. Impressive structures litter Kojam 1A's surface, practically begging for archaeological work. Alright, what do we find? The surface of Tyblek 4 is utterly without precedent in all exploration to date. Vast geological areas, from mountain ranges to entire continents, are suddenly cut by shapes far too geometrically regular to be natural in origin. These otherwise natural-looking environments are suddenly broken up by entirely flat plains, perfect triangles, and sharply angled corners. At present, any explanation of this baffling phenomenon is pure conjecture. That's interesting. We're going to see how that plays out for us. We are finding planets. That's going to be good for us when we finally start to colonize. And we are diversifying our paths, which is even better. So if he's going to go that way, I'm going to send this boy this way.
Anomaly found.
Although Tyblek 3A appears to be totally desolate and devoid of life, our scanners have picked up an encrypted signal emanating from it. Okay.
System survey complete.
We gotta buy... Oh no, we're perfectly balanced on that stuff. We can actually go ahead and build ourselves another constructed district. And we do have farmer positions, so I don't feel like the food is going to be that big of an issue here in a minute. Love's labor is lost. Having decrypted the signal, Maturis Kresh has astonished to discover that it was broadcasting an archaic form of one of those main Wookiee languages. Speaking in these thous and whenceforths, it appears to be reciting one of the lost works of Luan Zhaj, a renowned Wookiee playwright who lived some 600 years ago. It appears as though broadcasting device, a simple satellite dish protected by a small shelter, is the only non-natural structure on the moon. There is no hint as to who left it there or why, but going by the wear and tear on the evidence, it must have been there since shortly after the play was first written. Long before Wookiees learned the secrets of space travel, we can only assume that it was left bare by ancient visitors to Kashyyk, who took a liking to the play and decided to pay their respects, pay our species a strange and unexpected tribute. Further evidence of the superiority of the Wookiee race. That kind of fits in with the vibe that we are superior warriors. Wonderful news, disseminate the records. I kind of like the boost. How far off are we? 10 months. Now the boost would almost get us there, but we kind of want long-form unity for a while. But that's only for 5 years. This is going to help us in the long term if we disseminate the news, but it kind of feels better for us to roleplay further evidence of our superiority. Because our population happiness needs to go up. That was something we all struggled with in the Vaktorian campaign. Edict, or Edic, monolithic. Kajam 1A is uninhabited and indeed uninhabitable, but not unvisited. Its surface is littered with the tail of centrophs carved from some mineral not native to the planet, evidently placed there by some artistically inclined spacefaring race. The monolith's flowing lines deftly chart a history so fantastical, it must surely be fictional. Surely. Image them for our archives, or they are beautiful. I think we're going to image them for the archives, just for engineering.
System survey
We are
complete.
authoritarian, so our government is very self-centered. So we're going to go ahead and keep that for our gains. The people are important in the way of production, but beyond that, they have no purpose to the greater machine. is kind of the way we're looking at it.
Construction complete.
Oh boy. Okay.
Anomaly found.
Unusual energy readings. We briefly detected some unusual energy readings emanating from this planet. It might have been a glitch in our system, or it could be a sign of something more. We're going to do colonization fervor because we are going to plan on mass bursting out into the galaxy here. Just because that's always a better way to approach these sorts of things. And it might be time for us to start creating our second microsingularity. A microsingularity recently intersected Kojam 2, passing straight through the core and emerging on the other side of the planet. The encounter does not seem to have caused any permanent damage, but has altered the energy output of this planet's planetary core slightly in a way that defies our current scientific models. Further study may be warranted. Pop.
Anomaly found.
Alright, so we have Wookie Bolt class. We gotta fix that. We have discovered volatile molts, which we discovered in the last campaign is good for explosives. The surface of this asteroid is littered in metallic debris. Most of it appears to originate from starships of many different designs. Let's go ahead and build ourselves some more ships.
System survey complete.
We're going to build 2 Wookie Shooks, because that is our rocket.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
And Wookie Nut is going to be our,
System survey complete.
Wookie Nut is our defense with the flak. An asteroid carved. THX 487 has partially hollowed out and carved with exquisite precision. There is something familiar about the lines and curves etched into this rock. The warrior Wookiees are ready to read. Better scientific output, always nice. We do need extra food, so eco-simulation would be good. We're almost done with quantum theory and planetary build speed. Junkyard. This asteroid was evidently used as a junkyard by someone at some point in the distant past. All manner of discarded machinery and metallic refuse has been deposited in the inside of the asteroid's weak gravity well, being slowly pulled into the jumble of debris that now covers the surface. There is nothing particular value that can be found here, but a lot of metal could be salvaged by a mining station. Definitely, we're going to recycle. Harvest what we can out here. You're going to keep on trucking, so I'm going to let you keep doing your biz. Is there... Oh, I got both of you there. Alright, so our mineral situation's going into the negative, but it's a good thing I've gone ahead and built this guy. Scientist has developed the skill of paranoid. That's not great news. Let's go ahead and buy minerals just for the sake of buying minerals so I can build stuff. Oh, come on now. I guess I'm just gonna... There we go. Give me a second. Research station. There we go. They're going to get busy. Most of the asteroids have been laser chiseled with great precision into the likeness of a small Wookiee temple or large shrine. A shrine to the Untold, the great destroyer deity of old Wookiee faiths. The temple has been tumbling through the quiet of space for far longer than we have anticipated, or than we have been capable of spaceflight, which is disturbing at best, terrifying at worst. Naturally, scientific officer Loon Kondak urged us to search for more stellar objects that match the characteristics of the space temple and uploaded a likely list of candidates and nearby systems to the situation log. Perhaps it would be best if we did not. Then a-looking we will go. We may be warriors, we may be proud, but we are curious to see what this destroyer path will bring us.
Situation log updated.
Okay. This is something we can actually follow, the Shrines of the Old Gods. So we're going to mark it on the map. The paths have been laid before us. So they must have expected us to go this way.
Anomaly found.
Atmospheric readings of Fugia 7 or 4 do not match simulated projections. That's fine.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
Once you get done there, I want you to go build over here for me. Scientific breakthrough was achieved. We're going to do global energy management. I'm going to blow my nose for a second. Please hold. You're not busy, so I'm going to send you over here.
Anomaly found.
Cold wastes. Sensors pick up unexpected activity from an isolated point on Feldazar 6's frozen surface. Immense ragged plains of shadow drift across Fugia 4's face. They are not cast by clouds, but sheets of organic materials drifting through the upper layers of the atmosphere, hinged or rather jointed to allow a small degree of articulation. We're going to go ahead and study those. All of these space stations are going to be us. All of these star systems are going to be us. Sorry, I had something to read. All right, the Exile. The readings originate from a small research outpost, which is Furby Sith has no records of establishing or indeed authorizing. Where is this? Feldazir. Okay, that's way out here. I don't necessarily care if it's out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to claim it anyway one day. Which the Furby Sith have no records of establishing or indeed authorizing on the surface of Feldazar 6A. It is staffed by one Wookiee scientist, a very talented and industrious one of their research. If their research on Feldazar is anything to go by. There's a problem with regards to their identity, however. They have been unable to match them against official state records, and they refuse to identify themselves, save for saying that they are an exile. They have expressed an interest in returning Kashyyk and serving the Furby Sith directly, on the condition that the Lord Reliance immediately depart Feldazar 6 and no Wookiee ships ever return there. Now, I'm going to explain this decision. Normally, in my personal playthroughs, I would take the Exile and we get the Scientist, but I have never actually done out of the question, search every nook and cranny. Something should happen here. I don't know what, but we do get physics research bonus. Now, I do have plenty of scientists doing research, so that's why I feel like I don't need him this early. Ooh. Okay. Okay, we're getting new content for me. There is something unusual about the research outpost on Feldazir 6A. The structure itself is commonplace enough, a temporary shelter erected against the harsh elements, allowing surface-level planetary study for limited time before it wears down and conditions become untenable, but is situated on top of a rocky formation poking through the sea of ice that covers the planet. The crew of the Lord Reliance found an intricate system of caves and narrow passages leading into this mountain, accessible from inside the research outpost. In one of the larger cavern halls, they found the desiccated remains of the outpost's original staff. This contingent of Wookiee researchers had originally been dispatched elsewhere, but evidently diverted to this uninhabited hostile planet to set up shop. Of course, the self-proclaimed exile is nowhere to be found. The Lord Reliance has launched one of the escape pods. Its escape pods, transporting the bodies of the deceased back to Kashyyk. So they died here, or he killed them? I don't... Oof. Okay, that's new. I've never known that. Alright, bet. Now we know the secret of the exile. That's not what I liked, but hey, we know it now. Okay.
Anomaly found.
Efforts to map the surface of this moon have identified a strange mountain range in the southern hemisphere. It doesn't seem to be formed naturally.
Construction complete. System survey complete.
We'll get Kojam, don't worry. Don't you worry. Actually, let's go ahead and build here. Governor gained that trait. And then we're going to make sure we just go right here to build after that. Gigantic skeleton. It was previously thought that the assorted mountains in the southern hemisphere as Feldazir 1A has been identified as the massive skeletal remains of a single colossus alien life form. The bones have been dated for 3.4 billion years old, but our scientists have ruled out that Feldazir could have been supported life of any scale, or of that scale at any point in the moon's history. Scientific Officer Masaris Kresh has prepared special research project.
Situation log updated.
Is that you over here with the face? No. That's you over here with the face. Okay. Then you can survey after that and get back to surveying. I'm surprised and happy we have not come across any other aliens so far. That is a blessing, and as well as maybe a curse.
System survey complete.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I do see people playing Stellaris on stream, but not too many people do play it. Like, I only see roughly about 36 people watching it. Oh, our first faction. The Noble Privileged Vanguard. And the Glory Initiative. So we've finally factionalized into two different groups. The Glory Initiative just wants us to have oppressive subjugation policy and be a Leviathan Slayer, and we're actually all about the Noble Privileged Vanguard, which is autocracy, stratified society, and oppressive subjugation. Contact report. News of alien ships humming through the ether have reached Kashyyk in many ways, ending the first chapter of the Furby Sith's bid for the Stellaris Empire. Oh, we've encountered somebody in Dalberg. Where's Dalberg? Okay, out here, where we're going on a religious journey. We have made first contact with the mysterious aliens in Dalberg system. For now, we have codenamed them the Psi aliens. We haven't met anybody else, so we can go ahead and send an envoy. We'll see how well this goes.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
Geothermal fracking. We're going to get that for the mining benefit, plus we have a new tradition. A new life. Population growth increased by 10. Now, we are slow breeders, but this kind of will negate that altogether. A new life awaits our citizens in the off-world colonies. A chance to begin again in a golden land of opportunity. Or starbase influence costs. I think that's going to pay off in the long term just because we're trying to expand.
Situation log updated.
Old gods approaching the benefactress. The Lord Covenant, or Corvin, has entered the Demoya system, and the crew report that a stellar object not unlike the Shrine to the Untold is indeed orbiting the star. We have an encounter in Demoya as well for the Phi aliens. Again, we're going to send out another envoy, Lesh. What kind of aliens are you in this system?
Special project complete.
Okay, so you're actually neighbors. You're actual neighbors that own this land. Alright. After continued studies of the massive skeletal remains found on Feldazir, the scientist Matthias Kresh has concluded that the creature has served some kind of organic starship. Much smaller bones from at least 3 separate species were found within this larger skeleton, and we assume it came from members of the crew. For unknown reasons, the organic starship suffered catastrophic damage and crash-landed in Feldazir 1A, and we cannot begin to understand the biological engineering necessary to grow a starship like this. The study of these bones alone have substantially advanced our knowledge.
Anomaly found.
Alright, so if we're going to do that, if they're going to be here, I need you guys to actually focus down on this stuff. Just because I don't want them to lock us out of here by the time that we actually figure out who the heck they are. Because they will do that to us. I do not like that. I want to get these goals done, and I don't want to go to war this early over it. You know what I'm saying here? But if we do have to, I will go to war over it. It seems our linguists have suffered a major setback in their attempts to codifying the language used by the Psi-aliens. Unfortunately, that they have taken their language quite simply was not a language. In her report, Envoy Ladra Breach states that after days of investigating the matter from every angle, the linguists concluded that it was in fact probably an attempt of music. Poor guys.
Special project.
Shrine of
complete.
Benefactress. Deciphering the pictograms of the Benefactress Shrine was a much smoother process than anticipated. All linguists involved described the language as being connecting or clicking in their minds, despite its age and complexity. However, the writings are unlikely to make much sense until they are combined with the other associated with the rest of the quadrumvirate godhead. So there's 4 traditional gods to our
Anomaly
Wookiee people,
found.
it sounds like. A small rectangular object on the surface of the moon is deflecting all scanning beams like a mirror. Our sensors are unable to determine its material composition. It is 9:39. We got another 21 minutes tonight.
Construction complete.
So I'm going to send them down this way, and hopefully they don't find more evidence. But if they do find evidence of people, we'll get that figured out. An alien mural. While conducting the surface scans of Feldazir 4A, Science Officer Materius Kresh and the crew of the Lord Reliance discovered what appears to be the artificially carved slab of a rock covered in alien writing. They have not detected any other signs of alien activity on the moon. Exactly how this mural came to be here is a mystery, and we've
Situation
done a
log
special project
updated.
to figure that out. And then back to survey. You can build your stuff right now. I said right now. You're gonna say no to me. Well, fine. I'll just buy you more materials and build it now. You, on the other hand, I want to build the
Situation log
starbase.
updated.
Approaching the Percipient. The Lord Corvani has entered the Mizar system, and its crews report that the stellar object is not unlike the Shrine of the Untold in orbiting the star. There we go. Research project there, and then we will go there next. And then we'll survey after we figure out what the heck we're doing with the other
System
ghosts,
survey
or other
complete.
civilizations. There is a significant scarring on the surface of this world in a pattern that cannot be natural. From orbit, the massive rifts look almost like writing. Let's go take a look at our little ships. We decided to go with, I believe it was the avian
Construction
look.
complete.
Maybe it's musculoid, I forget.
Special project complete.
Science Officer Marius Kresh has managed to partially translate the alien mural discovered in the Feldazir system. The text contains a staggering amount of data, and the mural evidently serves as some sort of low-key tech library. It describes, in broad terms, the collected technological knowledge of an alien civilization that dominated this region of the galaxy some 80 million years ago. A lot of it is already known to us, but the data does contain several promising leads on technologies we have yet to consider. There are enough data here to keep our scientists busy for decades, but we will need an orbital research facility to continue translation efforts. There we go.
Special project complete.
I'm going to read this first. We'll do that in a second. The science officer Loon Kondak has reported back with the Lord Corvin's findings on the Percipient's Shrine. They recognize early on that the text is some sort of logographic script inlaid in the walls, heavily distorted by layers of translucent lacquer. Excuse me. Initial attempts at unscrambling the text, relying on raw processing power of Lord Corvani's computers, is to reconstruct the text from plain images, that proved fruitless, as it was simply too distorted to place on any known lingual family tree. Next, the crew of the Corvani attempted bombarding the lacquer with light from various wavelengths and intensity, but no beneficial reactions were observed. Loon Kondak apparently considered physically separating the lacquer from the inlaid text, but realized that the strange glyphs would doubtlessly have been made for misshapen to begin with. Doubtlessly have been made misshapen to begin with, only to assume their proper shape when viewed correctly through the lens of the lacquer. Science officer Loon Kondak was about to call the mission a failure when, looking up as they irritably paced along the edges of the circular space, they realized that the discrete lines of cohesive text were momentarily forming before their eyes, melting away only to be replaced by new lines. Not long after, they had the ceiling, walls, and floor image of the spiral pattern. Texts from other shrines should help us piece it all together. Shoot, I didn't read that. Someone used a mining laser from orbit approximately 5,000 years ago, carved a large body of writing into the surface of Owazila. The massive script covers a large portion of the moon's upper hemisphere and appears to have been a short story chronicling the difficult life of an alien mercenary. Alright, reconnaissance flights conducted by the Mizar system have reported a significant psi-alien presence, which includes at least one major military installation in orbit around the primary. Although we have not identified any planetary settlements of note, a preliminary target list is being put together in the event that the aliens prove hostile. Several interesting transmissions have been interceded, which may provide us with enough insights to translate their language. Keep at it. I think what we're going to start doing now, we're obviously going to build for him, or with him, but I think we're going to start coming over here and just gobbling up territory. I think I want to gobble up this bit of territory next, but we're not fully surveyed there, so I'll go here instead. You're still traveling out there. The Phi aliens. So we've talked about the side, now we're at the Phi. Following the sightings of identified spacecraft in the Domia system, all forces in the vicinity have been ordered to assume heightened state of readiness in the standard protocol. Intelligence is analyzing what little data we have on the bogey, but it appears capable of hyperspace travel. Offensive capabilities remain unknown. This is likely representative of our contact with the new alien civilization. We should take steps to decipher their communications. That is fine. Oh, low stability. Why are we at low approval rating? Is our factions mad? What's going on at home? Is it just because everybody's upset? We'll just go ahead and distribute some luxury goods. That'll make things a little bit better, I think. I think we can afford it.
Situation log updated.
Approaching the Undaunted. Where'd he go? The Lord Corvani has entered the Jurgrad system, and his crew report that a stellar object not unlike the shrine is there. There you are. Going to go ahead and study, and then we can go ahead and just start surveying again. Oh. There we go. Alright, new traditions. What time is it? Okay, we got 13. 13 more minutes. Courier network. A network of small courier vessels and a reliable alternative for transporting VIPs and delivering messages. We get extra empire size and colonies. Well, empire size from the systems and colonies are reduced by 25. So for every 4 systems we get like 1 free. Starbase upkeep is reduced by 20%, which is nice. Or we can go with the population growth. I think what we're going to do is the courier network, just because it makes sense to have size count less, so we can just burst grow
Construction complete.
when we're ready. We're going to have an
System
explosive
survey
period of growth
complete.
is our plan. wanted you to move here.
Special project.
Shrine to the
complete.
Undented. After days of activities that can be termed fiddling, Scientific Officer Loon Kondak has retrieved the doctrine of the Undaunted, a textile scroll coated with a sturdy plastic polymer. The Old God Revelation. The complete doctrines of the gods, for that is what they recovered texts have to be regarded as, dwarfing the fairy tale scraps upon which the old Wookiee religions were founded, is as shockingly revelatory as it is revolutionary. With only a little bit of creative interpretation, this is clear that the people of Kashyyk were meant for great things, guided by the strong hand of religious leader. Our path is one of godhood, or to godhood, but our past is littered with the prophecies unfulfilled and sin born of ignorance. Redemption is ephemeral. Do we want to hide the findings? Monetize them? What can we learn from it, which would be societal research? We walk in the footsteps of the divine. We were talking about becoming dominant anyway. That we have this idea that we're dominant. We are military. Instead of it being the government is the more powerful dominant factor, let's go ahead and say that we are now divine. We are spiritualists. Oh, we're still authoritarian, so that's even better. So what technically are we with that? I think we're still a dictatorship. There's a way to check, I just forget.
Anomaly found.
We briefly detected some unusual energy readings emanating from this planet. It might have been a glitch in our system, or it could be a sign of something more. We are superior through divinity of our gods. Let's go. I'm going to take a minute just to build this stuff up. Magnetic reversal. The magnetic field of Zarok 3 experienced a complete reversal, which it was being observed by the Lord Reliance. This rare event has interchanged the position of the planet's magnetic poles. Fortunately, it was all recorded as the sensors of our ship provided our scientists with a lot of valuable data. Then after you build up there, I'm going to send you there. Yet another tradition already, surprisingly, after that boost. I think a new life is... No, we're doing star bases right now. We're getting there with a new life. Still 4 viewers. We're maintaining pretty good today. That's awesome to see. Alright, the Phi aliens. Monstrous noises. The noises, a mixture of threatening and booming noises and what sounds like grinding of metal on metal, continued unabated for several minutes, punctuated occasionally by a howling noise that sent a chill through everyone who heard it. Just as the envoy Leslie Roth thought the noises had died down, they started up again, louder than before. With the wince, she switched the receiver off. She turned to the gathered crowd of officers, some of whom were cowering behind the seats. Well, that was quite something, she said weakly. It's hard to imagine that a species making noises we have picked up from the Phi aliens could anything other than hostile. Naval officers already fear the worst and assume that we will soon be at war with them. But calmer heads suggest that we better off waiting and seeing. They cannot help how they sound. We will come to understand them later. Here's a challenge. Send threatening noises back. We gotta. It was a challenge. We're going to bark right back at them because that's what we're thinking is happening right now. It makes sense. Right.
Anomaly found.
An ancient orbital shipyard drifts in the silence above this world. It has suffered significant battle damage, and entire sections of the facility are missing. Real quick, we're going to make... We had 3 of these, so let's make 3 more. For 6, 7, 8. And we'll do 2 more Wookie Shooks and 2 more Wookie Nut. Actually, let's do 4 Wookie Shook altogether. We're starting to get to a point where we can actually build up. Was it you? Alright, the Psi aliens appear eager to establish communications with us and have sent a large audio and visual transmission that appears to offer the key to translating their language. Our experts are confident that we will be able to use this to learn to communicate with them soon. Of course, we will have to trust them that their offered translations are not misleading, and that we will be able to reliably interpret information presented from surely vast different experiential context. How naive of them. Hey, we know they're goat people now. Yeah, goat people.
System survey complete.
Build a star base. They're cheaper now. That's always good to know. We're going to go ahead and try to explore this section of
System
space.
survey complete.
And if we can roundabout completely, that would be great. Class 12 asteroid orbits this planet. Small planetoid's orbit appears far too stable for this presence to be a natural occurrence. Automated shipyard. While conducting their survey of Okumfung 1, the Lord Beskard has detected the remains of an automated shipyard in orbit, at least 1,000 years old, and seems to have been subjected to a heavy missile barrage. But one of the manufacturing bays is still within working condition. The officer Von Kresh has confident that the power can be restored to the shipyard, but it would be a significant
Situation
project.
log updated.
One for which we are ready to fulfill. Towed asteroid. For some reason, someone has towed the asteroid into a stable orbit around Zarok 4. The massive engine sections have braking thrusters can be found on the surface, although they long since have been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these operations seemingly abandoned shortly after they began. Honestly, doesn't surprise me. First contact. Our response seems to have left the Phi aliens quite speechless. As soon as they received it, they fell completely silent, and we have heard little from them since. We can only speculate as to the meaning of this. In the meantime, our linguists have been hard at work translating, and we know that their language, what we know of their language. Hopefully, once they have made sufficient progress, we will be able to make sense of this. Intriguing. So we screamed at them, and now they don't know what the fuck to do, so they're like, bro? Bro, you good? Man, time flies.
This little blob right there is annoying me.
Union of Religious
Construction complete.
Conservationalism. They just want empty shells, so robots illegal and homogeny. Do we even have anything for robots? Robotic workers. I mean, we're Wookiees. We wouldn't really care that much about robots, right? It makes sense to have them be happy about it. I mean, only a small percentage of us are religion anyway. Psi aliens. Our linguists have recently made significant progress towards decoding the language used in the signals from the Psi aliens. Apparently, they now believe themselves to have a solid grasp of the fundamentals and promise that they will be able to report further findings soon. I think I barked too much at the other guys. Hopefully they don't hold that grudge. We're going to go ahead and send you this way.
System survey complete.
I assume that's them, actually. Our efforts to decipher the signals picked up by the Psi aliens have paid off, and we have finally made a breakthrough.
Survey complete.
While mastery of their language may not be complete, we have managed to successfully open diplomatic channels with the civilization we now know to be the Roltec interstellar hierarchy. On screen.
An alien empire wishes to communicate.
Goat people! Let's go, goat people! We are the Roltec interstellar hierarchy, minions of the wise overlord Jabasim the First. Our aim is to build an efficient society through the use of technology, and we are always keen on studying new alien civilizations to see what can be learned from them. We share the same divine heritage now. We will fight for our right to exist, Raltec. We are a proud warrior people of Wookies. Let's go. Alright, so I was right. We would have been potentially cut off there. The Phi aliens. We have managed to decipher enough of the language used by the civilization we now know to be the Empire of Kashyyk to open communications with them, and to make sense of their earlier broadcasts. It seems that, as we suspected, the Vatna Ka are a warlike society who greeted us with their most fearsome war cry. We scared them, apparently to test our mettle. Fortunately, our response passed muster, and we have apparently managed to earn their respect. Indeed, they seem to consider our prowess as warriors second only to theirs. Warlike prowess recognized. So they yelled at us to scare us, and we yelled right on back. I like it. We get it for 10 years. Diplomatic weight from fleet power goes up. Our monthly influence is higher. Empire Kashyyk likes us more. We get more influence, and we end the first contact with the Empire of Kashyyk.
An alien
And they were
empire
right.
wishes to communicate. Ha!
That's what growled at us. I bring greetings from Empress Kashyyk the First, the undisputed ruler of the Empire of Kashyyk. We wish to learn more about your species. Which martial techniques do your warriors employ, given your fascinating biology? I'm kind of wondering the same about you, buddy. The spirits do not look favorably upon this meeting, Varkana. We are warriors, though. We believe in our holy absolution against your whatever the hell that was. I am sorry, my friend, but you will burn. Alright, it is 10. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up a little bit more here, and then I'm going to go ahead and call it.
Special project complete.
Lord Corvani was forced to return to the Green Star. Okay, yeah, we got kicked out of there. That makes sense. Special project complete. The Lord Sledgehammer has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard over the Okram Fung. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order, using what materials it had on hand to build 3 advanced raiders of an unknown design. Unfortunately, the ancient facility broke down completely afterwards and has been deemed beyond repair. We have sent crews to the new ships and commissioned them into our fleet. Let's see what's up. Now, these ships will never be able to be upgraded, but it seems like we got some sort of raiding vessels, probably from some sort of bandit fleet. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and send them right back home to the Green Star, our home world. Alright, Empire of Furbag has cut us out. We could have been a little bit more diplomatically friendly to them, but honestly, we're trying to be honor-bound warriors ourselves, so we gotta do that. They have to respect our borders, or else we're gonna have conflict. And there's no way else to say that. You, on the other hand, we're gonna send right back here. And I think you are waiting for job, right? So after you're done doing what you're doing, you're going to come here. And I'm going to keep sending you this way.
System survey complete.
I think what we're going to have to do is just send you over here, because it doesn't look like there's anything for you to go do over there. Which is good for us, because we can use this little area as a choke point, depending on how this plays out.
Anomaly found.
Okay. We are receiving a weak signal from the surface of this planet. The source appears to be some kind of tracking beacon.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
We're going to go ahead and just do this research, flip-flop it on over to unification, just so we're getting up on that. We got a rivalry with the Empire of Kashyyk, who is kind of pissy with us. And the Goat people closed off their borders. Okay. I just need you to start doing more construction when we get back to it so I don't forget. And we are going to go ahead and call it here. I'm going to start saving process right now. I'm going to go ahead and head out, turn off the recording, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me for so long. It was a good time to have you guys hang out with us. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed the game. Sorry about the other, the crashed game. You know, the dead campaign, but, you know, the Vaktoran had their own time, and now it is time for the Wookiee Ascendancy. Alright, I'll see you all later. Have a great night.